To everyone reading, watching, or a combination of both, thank you for allowing me your time. I really appreciate those that have helped to make this possible. They know who they are. These are actual nightmares. Of course, as we all know, dreams are not always linear. So for that reason, I've added in a few moments, names, and etc., which help to connect the storyline. Every book from the Nightmare collection is a legit dream that I've had while sleeping. Thank you guys again for being a part of what I hope will eventually be a large collection of stories.
Today was a beautiful morning with a cool breeze and the fog was thick. This was a normal day in the bayous of Louisiana in the spring. Jeff and Maya just moved here and wanted to get a feel for where they had just been relocated due to his job. Maya was a city girl at heart and had never lived in a place that was inhabited by more animals than people. The fog made it to where they couldn't see more than a couple feet in front of their faces, yet the driver knew every turn perfectly. Finally, the fog lifted a bit and they came into an opening in the waterway. Once they reached the clearing, Maya realized that Jeff was looking down at his phone. As a lawyer at a successful firm that was opening a new branch in the state, he had been busy with work non-stop. This was not an unusual sight for her to see lately. "Jeff, can you do that later?" "Hold on, babe. Tony needs me to send him some files from a previous case." Maya was mad, but then saw a building. "Hey, is that a shop?" she asked the guide. The guide told her it was. He said the shop had been there since the late 1800s. It used to be a saloon, off the books and hidden away deep in the bayou so that the law couldn't raid the place. "Alligators are a better security system than any new age technology," he joked. She asked, was it open today? His response was simple. There's only one way to find out. He steered the boat over to the shore to what looked to be an old dock. "If it's open, don't spend too much, all right?" muttered Jeff. Maya gave him a quick glance. She looked back at the guide after seeing the current state of the building. "Do you know what type of shop it is now?" she asked. "Not really. I think it's like an old antique shop. Never been in there myself. Place gives me the creeps, to be honest." Not a breath after the guide finished his sentence, Jeff's phone rang. "It's Tony. I'm sorry, you know I have to take this. Go ahead and go in and I'll be inside in a few minutes, I swear." Maya was disappointed, but eerily drawn to wanting to go in and explore. Before entering the shop, Maya looked up at the building, in one of the windows on the second floor. She was startled when she saw an older woman looking back at her. Her stare was icy and blank. She never took her eyes off of Maya. Once inside, she saw what appeared to be a bunch of junk. She saw broken lamps and piled boxes everywhere. After a while, walking around felt like a step back in time. Toys from the 50s, clothing from the 60s, even furniture from the 80s. The shop seemed to stop there, nothing beyond the 80s. It even had things that looked like relics from the 1800s. She was amazed by the things she saw. She felt pulled to the back of the store for some reason. It was like a magnet in her body, physically pulling her. She walked past an area that didn't seem to fit the rest of the store. A room only lit by the sun that peered through the window. Beyond the room was a large rack of dresses. The feeling grew stronger.
She held a dress up to her frame and was instantly teleported to a time in the past that she could only explain as familiar. There were no lights to be seen, only glowing flames in the distance. She was standing in the middle of a dirt road. The only smells were of water and magnolias. She was clutching a blood-soaked rag in her hands, but the blood wasn't her own.
Maya looked down at the dress she was wearing. It was a beautiful white gown, shimmering in the moonlight. It's almost as if she didn't feel fear in being here. She was alone, in a place with very little light and buildings she had never seen anywhere. All that said, she still felt like she belonged here. Seconds later, the world began to shake and her vision became blurry. Now Maya felt like she was falling through space. Everything she once saw was replaced with a red tint. Just as quickly as she was on that dirt road, she was back inside the antique shop. She heard Jeff calling her name. "Are you okay, Maya?" Her world now felt fractured. "I called your name like 3 times. You okay?" Maya was puzzled at what had just happened. "Yeah, I'm fine. Where have you been?" Jeff didn't understand. He was only gone a few minutes. "You were on the phone for like 45 minutes, she continued. "No, I was only outside for like 2 minutes. Is this how women act when they get around clothes?" Maya punched Jeff in the shoulder in a playful manner. "Anyways, what do you think?" she asked while holding up the dress. "Everything on you always looks amazing," Jeff replied. "You actually look like a girl from like 100 years ago or something." Maya blushed a bit. "So?" she asked with a grin. "Let's see how much it is first." They both looked around for someone to ask. "You know, I've been in here a while and I've never seen anyone but an old lady upstairs. Maybe we have to go to the counter and ring a bell or something." As they walked back through the path of small rooms and large shelves, Jeff noticed someone standing behind the desk. "There's someone. I'll ask her." "Ma'am, would you happen to know how much this dress is?" An old woman turns around. It isn't the same woman from upstairs. She grabs for her glasses and puts them on slowly. "Oh, that dress isn't for sale."
Why? It was hanging on the rack in the back room, Maya stated. "It wasn't supposed to be. That dress isn't for someone to buy." Jeff decided to try his luck. "I'll pay up to $200 if money is the issue." The old woman looked upset. "It's not about money, young man. The dress was made by family here in the Bayous." Maya pleaded, "Please, the dress called my name." The old woman was taken aback. "The dress spoke to you? It actually spoke to you." "I mean, it didn't exactly speak to me. It was more like I was led to it," she responded. "Then it's yours, free of charge." The couple both looked at each other confused. "Wait, why is it free now when just a few seconds ago you didn't even want to sell it?" Jeff asked. "Yeah, let us give you something for it," Maya followed. "No, it's yours now. The dress is meant for you, sweetheart. I won't take no for an answer," the old woman said eagerly. "Well, whatever changed your mind, I'm glad it did. Thank you so much." Maya was so excited she could hardly contain her happiness. The two of them went out of the shop to get back on the boat. They lived about an hour away from where the guide rental was located. Once they reached the rental shop, they were ready to get home. The drive was a dark and quiet one. Maya could only think of what happened earlier. Well, that and her new dress, of course. She was afraid to tell Jeff anything, knowing he wouldn't believe her. I mean, who would?
Once they arrived home, Jeff told Maya he was going to go shower. She decided that this was the perfect time to find a place for her dress. This was a new home for her, so she didn't know where to put it. Moving boxes were still stacked in most rooms. They had only moved here a few weeks ago. She remembered the attic was free and there was a mannequin that was left here by the previous tenants. She went into the hallway and pulled the foldable stairs down. Once upstairs, she thought, why not try it on for the first time? So she did. About 30 minutes later, Jeff, done with his shower, starts to look for Maya. He calls out her name a few times with no response. He searches the house and finds the stairs up to the attic folded down. He calls up into the attic for Maya. He hears nothing. Starting to get frustrated, he yells her name even louder. Again, nothing. He starts to climb the ladder, and as he does, he hears a loud crash from downstairs. He looks down the stairs, concerned, but knows his wife is in the attic, so he continues upward. Once his head comes above the attic line, he sees Maya just standing, with the dress on, frozen. He calls out her name. She turns around slowly, with a blank expression. He goes over to her and grabs her shoulder. She snaps out of the trance and looks shocked that Jeff is standing in front of her. "What are you doing up here?" she asked. "What are you doing up here, and why aren't you answering me when I call?" he replied. "I don't know. I'm sorry. It's like someone was blocking out your voice." Jeff didn't know what to make of what she had just told him. "You've been acting strange all day. Maybe we should get some rest. Take that dress off and I'll meet you downstairs. You hungry?" Maya starts to take off the dress. "No, thank you though. I think you're right. I just need to get some sleep." After about 15 minutes, they both are now in bed reading a book and checking their phones. An hour passes and they're both now asleep. Maya opens her eyes and stares at the ceiling. She wonders why she woke up at all. A thud comes from above her head where the attic is. She sits waiting to see if she hears it again. She doesn't, so she goes back to sleep. Waking up in the morning, she realizes Jeff has already left for work. He left a note for her. "Hope you've gotten some good rest. I'll call you around lunch. I love you, Maya." She holds the note close to her heart. After that, she gets up to start unpacking. All day while doing chores, she can't help but think of the dress. Her mind was consumed with the thought of the weird instances surrounding it. All day, strange things kept happening. Noises from the attic, birds crashing into the windows, even phone calls with no one on the line. Because of all the things that were going on, she decided to tell Jeff about the moment yesterday in the antique shop. Once he arrived home, she met him at the front door. "You okay? You look like you saw a ghost," Jeff says. "No, actually, I'm not," she replies. "I need to talk to you about yesterday. Ever since I saw that dress, weird things have started happening. It's like I see things when that dress is near. I can't hear the world around me and I'm somewhere else, in a different time." Jeff, worried for Maya, tells her that they can see a doctor if it continues. "You don't understand, Jeff. This isn't my mind. The phone kept ringing today and no one would answer. I've heard noises from upstairs. Don't worry so much," he said. After they ate dinner, Maya wanted to go see her dress, so she told Jeff that she'd be to bed in about 20. Jeff said okay, went to lay down, and eventually fell asleep. The next morning, when Jeff woke up, Maya wasn't there. When he went to go look for her, he found that the stairs were still down to the attic. He went up to find her, sitting down, just holding the dress. "Have you been up here all night?" he asked. She looks up at him. "What are you talking about? I've only been up here for, 15 minutes or so?" Now visually upset, he turns away from her and then turns back. "It's 6 a.m, Maya. What's going on with you? Is it this damn dress? If so, I'm taking it back." She looked at him like he was evil. "Don't you touch this dress, Jeff. Do you hear me?"
I don't know what the hell is going on, but as soon as I get home, we're gonna solve it. Now I have to get ready for work, so put the dress away and go get some sleep." Maya stormed off upset. Later that evening, a couple of hours before Jeff got off work, Maya woke up feeling sick. She went to the bathroom and vomited into the sink. After she finished, she looked into the mirror. As she did this, she heard knocking coming from the bedroom window. She felt scared knowing no one could be knocking on the upstairs windows. She peeked out of the bathroom door and saw a human-like shadow through the blinds. She ran over to the window and opened them quickly to see nothing. She was spooked, to say the least. She ran back to the bathroom and hid in the tub. She was starting to freak out. She was either seeing things or something was really there. Maya told herself she can't tell Jeff. He'll just make her get rid of the dress. She didn't understand why she cared so much about it, but she did. The next couple weeks were torture for Maya. Noises at night, shadow people, and voices. The voices were always there. She could hear them calling her name. She could hear them talking to each other. She was losing it. A couple weeks later, and she couldn't take it anymore. One night when Jeff got home, she asked to talk. They went in their living room and sat in front of the fire. I knew we'd eventually be having the talk. You're losing weight. You haven't even left the house, Jeff started. Yeah, I haven't been honest with you. The dress needs to go. I've heard voices, I've seen things. And it all started in the antique shop with that little old lady in this fucking dress. I want it gone, and you don't have to believe me. Call me crazy, I don't care. Maya was confident this time. Maybe the dress was losing its power. Jeff looked down at the floor. He was rattled. Maya, I didn't want to say anything since you stopped telling me you were hearing things, but I've heard them too. Maya was furious. Why the hell would you not tell me this? I've been trapped in this nightmare for weeks and you didn't think to tell me? I've been dying slowly and I didn't want to take your dream house and job away from you. Jeff was ashamed of not believing her and not confiding in her. I'm sorry, I should have believed you. I just didn't want to admit that something supernatural was going on. Maya fell to the floor crying, and he went to comfort her. I'll get rid of the dress tomorrow, I swear. We can burn it or throw it in the lake, I don't know. I'll take care of this, okay, babe? Still crying, Maya shook her head in agreement. But what if it isn't the dress? She asked. Jeff didn't know what to say. When he finally spoke, he told her to put the dress in a trash bag, and we will sit it on the front porch until tomorrow. Maya and Jeff went to bed that night with a sense of relief. Tomorrow it'd all be over. Around 3 a.m., Jeff awoke in a cold sweat. He dreamt he was in a completely white world with no borders or sound. He was trapped in this lonely place with no one in sight. All he knew was his last memory. It was a flashing image of his wife, Maya. He looked over at where she would have been laying, and she wasn't there. He jumped out of bed and ran to the hallway. He knew he'd find her in the attic. The stairs were down, but the light wasn't on. He yelled up into the dark void, Maya, babe? You up there? After waiting a few moments, he knew he had to go up. He continued calling her name as he climbed the stairs. He used his phone's flashlight to find the light switch. When he turned it on, he saw Maya wearing the dress. She was turned away from him, facing the window. Maya, what are you doing? Come on, we gotta get you out of that thing. He grabbed her to turn her around, and when he did, she turned and stabbed him in the heart. Jeff took a step back and looked down at the knife in his chest. He looked up at Maya, who had snapped out of her catatonic state. She was in complete shock. Jeff started to fall backwards until he hit the floor. Maya rushed to his side. You're gonna be okay, Jeff? Do you hear me? Jeff! Are you okay, Maya? She was now standing in front of the dress rack in the antiques shop. I called your name like 3 times. You okay? Jeff asked. Yeah, I'm fine. Where have you been? You were on the phone for like 45 minutes. Jeff was confused. No, I was only outside for like 2 minutes. Is this how women act when they get around clothes? Maya punched Jeff in the shoulder in a playful manner. Anyways, what you think? She asked while holding up the dress. The year was 1845 in the bayous of Louisiana. An 18-year-old woman named Margaret Melicon lived with her parents. She was to be married to a man named Hank Collins in the fall. Margaret and Hank had been in love for years. Their love was strong and unbreakable. Hank was a poor man, but Margaret didn't care. She loved him for who he was, not what he had. All she wanted was a dress to wear on that special day. Even this was a long shot for her, since her family wasn't well off either. Margaret loved to explore the bayous surrounding the family's property. It was something she did most nights, and tonight was no different. She set off into the woods near dusk and promised her family she'd be back before nightfall. She followed her normal trails, but became sidetracked when she saw a glowing flame in the distance. She followed for a while, but could never catch up to the light to find out what it was. Now she was lost. She wasn't worried, because she knew come daylight she'd find her way home. She grew up here and knew every leaf on every tree. Tonight, the moon was hidden by clouds, and the candle in her lamp was burning dim. She thought, "I'll just rest by the water, and in the morning, I'll head home." After a few hours, she fell asleep. She woke up to the sound of splashing in the river. She looked towards the water and saw a woman bathing with fire all around her. "Excuse me, there's a fire! Miss, get out of there!" Margaret shouted. When the woman turned around, she transformed into a demon with woman-like qualities. "Do not fear, my child. I bathe in the flames. You are lost, but Huma is only but a stone's throw away. Margaret, my love, I came to these waters just for you." Margaret was paralyzed with fear. "How do you know my name? What are you?" The demon stretched her arms to the sky. "I am Lilith, the queen of the damned, the seducer of seduction. I am the all-knowing one. I have come to give a gift. Well, a trade, if you will." Margaret was scared, but intrigued by the idea of the offer. "What is it that you want?" The demon slowly creeped towards her. "My dear, I only ask of a simple task. In exchange, a dress for your wedding day." Margaret wanted a dress more than anything. She knew this was a terrible idea, but had to find out what the deal was. "What do I have to do?" The demon smiled. "Ah, smart girl. All I ask is that tomorrow night, just before sunset, you come to this very spot with a knife. When you arrive, use the knife to cut a magnolia flower and bring it to the water's edge. Take your knife and cut your finger. Wipe the blood on the petals of the flower and set it into the water." With very little hesitation, Margaret agreed. "If this is all I have to do, then I shall. What about my dress? When will I get it?" The demon started to levitate above the ground. "As soon as your blood is in the water, the dress will rise from the river of sanguis." She then flew away into the night. As soon as the sun rose, Margaret found her way home. The next night she returned to the river at dusk, with a knife from her father. She never told anyone about what she had saw, only that she got lost because of the darkness. Now that she was here, she cut a flower off a blooming tree near the water's edge. She did exactly what was asked of her. She cut her finger, wiped the blood onto the petals, and set it in the water. Once she did, the water bubbled and started to turn red. She stepped away from it in fear. But just as Lilith had said, a dress came out of the water. Margaret grabbed it and ran home. The next evening, when everyone had fallen asleep, she tried on the dress. Immediately she fell into a trance. She grabbed the knife her father had given her the night before. She then walked out the front door. She walked over 2 miles to where Hank lived with his parents. Hank, sitting inside, happened to look out the window and see her walking up the path. He ran outside to greet his soon-to-be wife. When he got closer, he noticed the knife in her hand. "Margaret, my love, what are you doing here? Why do you have a knife? Are you okay?" She just sat with a blank expression. "Here, let me have that," he said as he went to grab for the knife. She pulled away and stabbed him in the chest. He died instantly. Margaret then regained her whereabouts. "Oh my God! Hank, I'm sorry! What have I done? Hank!" The next morning, Hank's parents find Margaret sitting next to their deceased son. They alert the law, and she was quickly arrested for murder. The following year, she was hung for her crime. The dress was given to Margaret's mother, who then passed it down from generation to generation. The family knew the truth. The dress was made from the Bayou. It spoke to them in their dreams. It was a source of great luck. Their families started to make more money than they could spend. Each generation was equally favored until 1980. For some reason after that, the dress needed to be reactivated. New blood needed to be shed, or the luck the family had would run out. Eventually, it did. The woman who owned the dress now was a great niece of Margaret's. She stored the dress away after Lilith had returned and told her what needed to be done. She refused. She stored the dress away, but after decades of pressure from Lilith, the niece decided she had to get rid of it. One morning, she sat it out to do so. She became busy and forgot she left the dress sitting on the rack. That day was the day Maya arrived. Would you happen to know how much this dress is? The old woman grabs for her glasses and puts them on slowly. Oh, that dress isn't for sale, Maya explains. She found it on the rack. It wasn't supposed to be. That dress isn't for someone to buy, the old woman says. The couple tries to convince her to sell the dress. Maya explains that the dress called to her. The woman was taken aback. The dress spoke to you? It actually spoke to you? She asked. I mean, it didn't exactly speak to me. It was more like I was led to it, Maya responded. Then it's yours, free of charge. I won't take no for an answer, the old woman said eagerly. Well, whatever changed your mind, I'm glad it did. Thank you so much. Maya was so excited she could hardly contain her happiness. As they leave the store, they see the woman in the window on the second floor. She is holding a red-colored rag in her hands. The woman starts to smile and then disappears from view. Maya felt like she had seen the woman before. They continue towards the boat. Jeff held her hand as she got on the boat and says, I can't wait to see that dress on you, Maya.